Hi, my name is Erin Wiley Sands, and I help people declutter the emotional weight preventing them from living their most amazing life. A few years ago, I wrote a book entitled The Dunes. The Dunes consist of 7 chapters that I like to refer to as revelations. Each revelation helps you explore issues of fear, commitment, forgiveness, trust, surrender, perseverance, and gratitude. At the end of each revelation, there are a set of journal questions that serve as a map, sort of your journey companion, to help you unmask a truth and reveal the things that have been blocking you from living the life that you were born to live. And how many of us know it's one thing to have a revelation about the truth. It's quite another to apply that truth to your life and manifest a positive result. And that's what the revelation challenges are all about. After each revelation, you get a set of journal questions followed by a revelation challenge. And this challenge helps you to step out of your comfort zone, step out on faith, and put that newfound truth into action. It's one of the reasons the readers of the Dunes have such a transformative, life-expanding experience. Because after the journal questions help you recognize the root of the issue, the revelation challenge helps you overcome that fear. Forgive that person, release that past hurt, commit fully to that goal. So you go from understanding what's been holding you back to overcoming it. Now, I know you're saying, how can one book do all of those things? And my answer to that is, it doesn't. The Dunes is purely a vehicle to help you declutter the emotional weight that has been preventing you from attaining your goals and living the life you want to live. And that's because The Dunes isn't just a book that you read. The Dunes is a book that you do. You take an active part in your healing. You take an active part in your restoration. You take an active part in your new beginning. And what I have found in my own life and with readers who have taken the Dunes journey is when you heal your heart, you heal your soul. And when you heal your soul, you heal your mind. And when you heal your mind, anything is possible. The Dunes journey is different for everyone who takes it because the questions and the challenges have been designed to fit you, the individual. Now, I want to share an amazing testimony of one of the readers who took the Dunes journey, and then I'd like to tell you a little bit more about how the Dunes came to be.
I am a singer-songwriter. I've been in the music industry for about 10 years now, and I've written for some of the biggest names in the music industry. I've always felt that my fear has held me back. I have a fear of performing in front of people. For whatever reason, that fear I've just never been able to get over, and I do believe it has stopped me from reaching the levels of success that I probably could have.
Put your hands together for Miss Celeste.
The fear feels overwhelming. It takes you over. It makes me feel shaky and nervous. It's holding me back from the way I treat people, the way I carry myself, the way I live my life, and the things I can achieve in my life. The first revelation in the Dunes is really what prompted me to overcome my fears. It really helped me to realize that I was just letting so much of my life and this gift that I was given just, be stifled away.
Hi everybody, my name's Celeste, and this is actually my first time performing one of my own songs.
The challenge that I chose to conquer my fear was to face my fear and perform in front of a live audience. And not only perform, because I've done that before, but to perform one of my songs, a song that I wrote.
A book called The Dunes, and it's about overcoming your fears and facing your fears. So here I am, facing my fears. I'm letting go, breaking the chain.
When I got about halfway through the song and I realized that my family was there, they were watching, my friends were there, and I was being supported, and people were really loving it. I was looking around at people enjoying it, and by the end of the song it really felt great and gave me a newfound confidence to want to do that again and not be afraid to share my gift.
Let 'em still breathe.
What I really loved about The Dunes is that it's a story, but not only is it a story, it causes you to, take a look at yourself. It's time, it's time to not let my fears, my insecurities hold me back anymore. And The Dunes really helped me to see that. It's a life-changing book.
Wow, wasn't that an amazing testimony? That reader's name is Celeste, and when I saw her months later, she had signed with a record label, she was putting out an album, and she was doing live shows all over town. Now, yes, The Dunes absolutely helped her conquer her fear, but it was because she made the decision that she was ready to put in the work and make the change. Because at the end of the day, a book is just a bunch of words on paper secured by binding. You have to make the decision that you are ready for the new you and that you are ready for your life to change. And when you do that, yes, The Dunes can become your tool for growth and it can launch you into your amazing. Now, before I tell you more about what I believe The Dunes can do for you, I'd like to tell you how The Dunes began. When I began writing The Dunes, I had no idea I was writing a book. I was actually too busy crying every day, asking why, God, why, to even think about becoming an author. Although I've always been a pretty good writer, the personal crisis and the emotional meltdown I was having took precedence. Have you ever heard of the saying, pain is often the birthplace of a revolution? No? Well, I wrote that. It's one of my inspired quotes, and it's exactly how my book, The Dunes, was born. I initially wrote The Dunes because I was journaling. I was fresh from a breakup. I was facing an all-time career low, and I was so financially strapped that I had to move back in with my mother. And although I have the greatest mother in the world, as an adult, it is never your goal to have to move back in with your parents. So yeah, things weren't going well. So I decided to turn the challenges that I was experiencing into an allegorical journal that I chose to entitle The Dunes. I titled it The Dunes because in Manhattan Beach, there's this sand dune that is 100 foot high that people would come from miles around in Los Angeles County, mostly who lived on the west side, and use it as a form of exercise, myself included. Now you have to picture it. The Dunes is a 100-foot mound of soft sand. It is glorious and awe-inspiring, which is why so many people would come from all around to conquer the challenge. And I had to tell you, not everybody did. The Dunes is not for the squeamish. It's 100 feet of soft sand and sometimes blistering heat. So every time you would take a step up, the soft sand would push you down. You ever heard the saying, 2 steps forward, 1 step back? It was kind of like that. Every step you take while propelling you forward slightly, it also pushes you back in the direction of your starting point. So in order to reach the top, you have to make a consistent, steady climb, all the while understanding that you are putting in double the effort for half the gain. But when you reach the top of that dune, the sense of accomplishment you felt was unparalleled. Back to my meltdown. Like I said, it was just my personal journal. I never expected anyone else to read it. I was purely doing it as a creative form of self-therapy. I was journaling everything that I felt like life was teaching me in that season, and then I put it away and forgot about it. I hadn't even remembered I wrote it until 2 years later when I was going through a drawer and going through some papers and I saw it. It was at that moment that God put it on my heart to expand The Dunes and make it a book. Include journal questions, personal stories, and challenges for the reader. When I completed The Dunes, it contained 7 chapters that I decided to call Revelations, because that's where they were to me. Revelations about life, joy, freedom, forgiveness. I had no idea if what I wrote would resonate with readers, or if it would have any effect outside of my personal life. But what I did know was that I was willing to put it to the test. I put an ad on Craigslist asking for strangers to read my book, to answer the journal questions, to do the challenges, and allow me to chronicle their journey on film. The results literally amazed me. I watched people's lives transform, and that's when I knew I had something special and I had to get it published. And now I'd like to share another reader's journey with you.
The Dunes challenges you. It brings the mountain to the forefront where you're able to examine it and also to climb it and to overcome it.
It has impacted our marriage a great deal, and it has opened up a lot of doors.
Reading The Dunes, there was a paragraph about the child in the garden, the big garden that God provided, and all the wonderful things that were there. And the child, God's child's in the corner, afraid. And that picture was me.
I would be like, sometimes, babe, let's go take a walk. And she didn't want to really go outside and walk.
I've never flown by myself. I've never stayed in a hotel by myself. I've never traveled by myself. The very first revelation, which was fear, and when I hear fear, I automatically think about being outside. Being afraid of dogs, afraid of anything that moves.
Knowing that she does not like outside, here we are now, we're gonna go up a rocky mountain trail with bushes and weeds and things flying around. So I'm like, you wanna do what?
The whole week, the whole day, thinking about the hike. I knew that I was gonna do it, so there wasn't a thought of turning back. I knew I had to do it in order to get to the next level of my life. I was afraid, but I was okay. As I began to go higher or climb higher, I felt like a weight being lifted. I think both physically and spiritually. And as I began to climb, I started taking off my jacket and I felt that I was being released. I think with each climb, I was released to not just the mountain, but I was thinking, what's next? You know, what else can I do?
I was actually inspired because, first of all, I knew her fears. So she was very courageous to face those fears. So what that actually did, it did inspire and motivate me. Now I'm thinking I'm the one, like, you know, maybe I need to read this Dunes book myself.
Having my husband there was special to me because he also knows the struggles. There's things that he has wanted to do as far as hiking or flying or visiting or traveling that I've always been too afraid to do.
When I saw her do that and put fear in a headlock, I said, you know, I'm very proud, and it was actually an inspiration to me.
Having my daughters with me was very important because I wanted to let them know that I can conquer my fears too. It was a moment to teach them by doing. By reading The Dunes, I learned to conquer fear after fear, or tear after tear. I started doing more of the revelations and started asking myself those tough questions, realizing that what God has for me is freedom. And being afraid was a trap.
I love her testimony. That reader's name is Sharia, and when I saw her months after taking her Dunes journey, she had lost 40 pounds, written a book herself on goal setting, and was taking trips with her family living her best life. Both Sharia and Celeste were in the group of people who answered my Craigslist ad. The people who answered my ad are the bravest people I know, and not because they answered my ad, but because they had each come to a place in their lives where they wanted something more, and they were willing to release the things that had held them back to get it. To say we were a motley crew is an understatement. The ages and the backgrounds ran the gamut. The sole commonality was a sincere heart for change. Over 7 weeks, these strangers searched their hearts, released their fears, forgave past hurts, stretched themselves in ways that were uncomfortable. And yes, there were some days with tears. But the joy, the growth, and the freedom they all now experience was well worth it. But guess what? In full disclosure, during my journey with these readers, there were times I wanted to quit. Following a group of strangers' lives over 7 weeks and trusting them to not only read my book, but authentically put their best foot forward in conquering their own demons was a bit nerve-wracking. It forced me to examine my own issues of trust and vulnerability. So as these readers were going through their own Dunes journey, the Dunes was growing its author again in a whole new way. And that's what I love about the Dunes journey. It's a journey you can take over and over again. Because in life, there'll always be new fears to conquer, new challenges to forgive, new ways to trust and step out of your comfort zone or begin again. And each time you do the Dunes, you go to a new level of fearlessness and faith. Another testimony I'd like to share with you was from a reader named Charles. He was 74 at the time of his Dunes journey, and the revelation that had the biggest and most transformative effect on his life was the 5th revelation. And that revelation is entitled Grace and Perseverance. The revelation challenge for the 5th revelation is to give of yourself in a sacrificial way, to do something that helps someone else. I found out that Charles had been doing Tai Chi for years. It was one of the reasons that at the age of 74, he looked like a man in his late 50s. So for the 5th revelation challenge, Charles decided to share his knowledge of Tai Chi with others. He began giving Tai Chi classes at the local senior center in Altadena, California. His classes became so popular that they had to be done on a first-come, first-served basis because they were filled every week. So in Charles' 3rd act of life, the Dunes inspired a way for him to give back, not only in a way that added value to other people's lives, but added a new element of purpose and excitement and passion to his life.
We read the Dunes because we needed a new journey for our marriage where we can go deeper than before, because the Dunes ask a lot of questions in marriage that you really don't ask because you're busy, you're working and school and all of these other things. You don't really take the time to ask what are your fears or what's an area you haven't committed in lately.
Yeah. I mean, I thought, you put a ring on it, you're committed. It's a done deal. I mean, there's so many things that you have to juggle between your time and the space that you guys share now. It's a brand new space, a space between you. And the Dunes, it helped us to identify small problem areas that we didn't even know existed, and almost like there's a light shining and there's a dark crevice, it really illuminated some areas in our life that we had no. And so I put the blindfold over her eyes, right, and then I turned to lead her, and the grass is uneven and it's a little wet, and so it's porous, and I'm holding her hand and I'm kind of walking, to kind of pull her closer to me, because I don't want her to fall, and that's the whole point, I'm not supposed to let her fall.
There was a little bit of resistance on my part because I was afraid, even in this exercise, to allow him to lead me. And the Dunes really challenged me to let go, allow him to lead. It's okay, so.
Yeah, I guess I had to learn to trust in my own steps, and trust that, she could follow me if I led her properly.
The Dunes really showed me that forgiveness is every day. It's an action. And I didn't realize in marriage that there were areas that I had not forgiven him in until I read the Dunes. And then I thought about, is there any areas I have not forgiven my husband in? And when I actually wrote them down physically, it's like it manifested and I realized, wow, I need to forgive him. So by reading the Dunes, it actually gave me the strength to like go to him and ask for forgiveness in the areas that I hadn't before.
And the Dunes showed me how wrong I really was. Forgiveness is such a huge topic, and there's always little things that will come up in the marriage that you have to squash. You have to get rid of it quickly. And the saying is forgive and forget, but the Dunes showed me that you forgive to forget. My favorite part of the Dunes book was the beginning opening scenes, as they were, the author framed them in like a play, you know, and we enjoyed acting out each part, you know, the one and the other, and then I get loud and I go crazy, and I don't know, it released me from my presuppositions, my thoughts, you know. I was allowed to just kind of be free and then experience it with an open heart, you know, and that was really cool. That was really cool.
The revelation that basically inspired me or touched me the most was gratitude. Gratitude, you have to pick 25 things you're most grateful for, and you really don't realize what you're truly grateful for until you start actually listing them out. And I realized, out of all of the things I was grateful for, it was my husband. You know, it really just blew me away. And then it also challenged you, like if it was your last day, like on earth, where would you go? Like who would you be with? And I'd want to be with him. So it really just brought out like that. What really matters most are the people that you care about the most. And all of the other things of life, they really don't matter. But the person you love, that's what matters.
The Dunes is a book that is designed for growth.
And I think it doesn't just apply to marriage. It also applies if you're a single person and you're looking to go to a deeper level, to learn more about yourself with the relationships with others, and also to challenge yourself to overcome your fears and any obstacles you may go through in life. And the Dunes really is a life-changing experience.
What a wonderful testimony. Those readers are Jason and Nicole. As you can see, the Dunes fits a myriad of situations, whether you're taking the journey yourself, applying it to your marriage, doing it in a book club, or doing it with a faith-based group. If you are fully committed to making the change, the Dunes journey can serve as a launch pad to your new beginning. Now, I have some exciting news. Over the years, as I was hearing these remarkable success stories from readers of the Dunes, I noticed that the readers with the biggest success stories were readers who I coached personally through the Dunes with my IRO method: identify, recognize, and overcome. Because like I shared, it's not enough just to identify a fear or even recognize the root cause of it. Until you step out of your comfort zone to overcome that fear, the life that you want to manifest will not come. And that's what I want to help you do personally. And since I can't come to each of your houses, I knew the best way for me to meet with you one-on-one and walk you through the Dunes journey was a virtual online course. So I am officially inviting you to Live More, Carry Less, Boot Camp for the Soul. The online course where I walk you through each revelation in the Dunes with some added extras to help you get the most out of each revelation. In my online plan, Live More, Carry Less, Boot Camp for the Soul, you will get inspirational tools, weekly video coaching, and I will walk you through my IRO method to help you identify what's been holding you back, recognize the root cause, and overcome it. And this is not a plan where you have to wait until the end to get results. No. This is an ongoing plan and a community where you will achieve personal victories throughout, because each week we will be tackling issues that will give you both emotional and spiritual breakthrough. Questions. Is this hard? It's not hard, but it is challenging. Anytime you work to change habits or fears that have been holding you back, it will challenge you. But it is equally challenging and freeing. When you set aside those emotional weights that have been holding you back so you can fly, life becomes that much better. Is this a Christian course? No, this is not a Christian course, but I am a Christian woman, and The Dunes is a faith-based book. So at times I will utilize scripture to motivate and inspire you. And as I share my testimony of things I've overcome or the things I'm still working on, that often includes my walk with Christ. The greatest challenges I've had in my life have been the negative thoughts that I have chosen to think or say about myself, or the fears that I have let hold me back from walking in purpose. Those things affected me much more than any obstacle outside of me. But when I realized the power of my thoughts and my words to co-create my reality, I began to do the soul work that was needed to retrain my mind to create the life, the health, and the relationships I desire. And that's what I want to do for you. Live More, Carry Less, Bootcamp for the Soul is a huge gain, low-cost online plan. It's your time. It's time to introduce you to the new you. I am inviting you to live more, carry less. Whether you choose to purchase the Dunes book and take the journey for yourself, or if you choose to join me at Live More, Carry Less, Bootcamp for the Soul, I hope you turn your faith into action and your dreams into actual things. And if you need some help getting there, you know where to find me. My name is Erin Wiley Sands, and I hope you will join me on the journey.